Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Diamond Select Toys Colossus, the Special Collector Edition action figure. Though not necessarily a new release from the folks over at Diamond Select Toys, this was at my local comic book store and had to pick him up as it was one of those figures that I always wanted to get and just never got a chance to pick him up. Figure looks like he comes with part of the Danger Room, a wall of spikes, and we spin around the side of the package featuring some incredible artwork donned in red, a picture of Colossus's face. And spin around the back of the package. We have the Trial of Colossus, the issue number 122 of the Uncanny X-Men. The other figures available are Gambit and Cyclops. And your brief read-up says, a descendant of the mad mystic Grigory Rasputin, Piotr Rasputin was raised on a collective in the Soviet Union and was recruited to the X-Men by Professor Charles Xavier. After his ability to turn his body into organic steel was discovered during a tractor incident, Piotr took the codename Colossus, I know I'm just butchering his name, became a long-standing member of the team, finding romance with young recruit Kitty Pryde and comrades with Wolverine, whom Colossus would frequently hurl into battle as part of their fastball special maneuver. To check out more from Diamond Select Toys, you can go to www.diamondselecttoys.com. That being said, Spot is going to take a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to better look at the Diamond Select Toys Colossus Special Collector's Edition action figure. There's more anyway, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Immediately from packaging, you'll get a couple of component pieces that have to be put together. You have this wall of spikes. It doesn't retract. It's just a solid piece. Well, it's actually a hollow piece of plastic. But you have that. You spin around to the back, and there are two bottom ports, two top ports, and you get varying sizes of these kind of strut supports. Two small ones and two tall ones. So we can take these small ones here and just attach it. Helps if you attach it the right way. Attach it to the bottom, like that. Make sure you, one thing to note as well, make sure you have, see a little notch at the bottom? There's a little extra piece, and there's a groove at the bottom. You want to make sure that those obviously peg into the right spots. Take the top ones, and we'll use the longer ones. Make sure that's in place, and you've got that, like a little wall of spikes. Not bad. A little nice little accompanying piece for Colossus. Having a look at Colossus, I find myself doing this a lot, and I've done this now a couple of times with Gambit, the most recent review that I did on Carnage, and now Colossus. I have to feel myself thinking the same thing, is that if you ever have collected, if you've ever picked up the Marvel Legends versions of these figures initially, you probably thought, man, these are really great figures. I really like the Carnage, for example. Gambit is a solid figure. Colossus, I've always loved the original Toy Biz Colossus. And I never really thought to myself that there could be a figure as a superior version of that character until I pick up Colossus here. Colossus, as much as I really liked the Marvel Legends Colossus, this, I think, is a definitive Colossus. He's scaled, I guess, appropriately that, yeah, he would be taller than other Marvel Legends figures. If you had a Marvel Legend figure next to Colossus, he'd be kind of out of proportion, a little too big in scale. But I would say that for displaying purpose, not disposing, but displaying purpose, this Colossus from Diamond Select Toys could easily be the definitive version of this character. The figure is fantastic. Let's have a look at his face. His face is very, very Colossus. The silver that they used for his face is very nice. You may or may not be able to see it, but he's got blue eyes, very small, sculpted in blue eyes. They've been painted in, of course, the lighter blue. But what you may not be able to see is that those eyes have been outlined in black. It's enough that the eyes stand out as opposed to them just simply being lost amongst the silver that's adorning this figure. He is sporting more of a classic design suit with the kind of the finned collars, very similar to like a Nightcrawler design, and then the yellow in the middle there. He's got his X-Men belt with that yellow, although darker red and darker gold in the trim of his belt, and it wraps around the full parameter, I guess full parameter of his waist there. He's got the knee-high boots, all staples of Colossus himself. It's a great looking piece. I suppose if I had one issue with the figure, and it's not a super big issue, but the top piece here, this section right here, is an overlaid piece. In fact, you can lift it up, and funny enough, underneath that looks like a fully finished torso. I would say you'd be able to remove it. In fact, it looks like you could remove it. In fact, let me just flip it up there so you guys can see. You could theoretically remove it. The only downside, though, is this piece right here. This lower torso would stay. As a result, though, it does look like it's kind of floating. It's a little higher than his bottom torso piece. I'm curious as to why this wasn't sculpted and why, again, it looks like it should be removable. Again, you could remove it, but this section right here would still stay intact. It's not like you could simply take that off. The lining that they've put on the body, that kind of panel lining on Colossus, looks awesome. I would almost be inclined to probably take, I wouldn't, but be probably inclined to take like a marker, do like, or like a panel line marker, and just kind of rub over it, quickly take like a Q-tip and wipe it off so it sits into those crevices, just kind of brings out those creases, the little line marks on his armor. I feel though it might end up looking too much. Maybe the subtlety in having it just sculpted in versus panel lined, maybe it might be a smarter way to go. Also really digging this cranberry metallic that they put into his little gauntlet, his wrist gauntlets there. It's a nice touch. His hands are also sculpted nicely. Yeah, this easily is my favorite Colossus. I liked so much the Marvel Legends version of Colossus, but this one really takes it. This is so very cool of a figure. When it comes to Colossus's articulation, he does have the head swivel. It also hinges up and down. Arms hinge out, a little stiffer, but they do hinge out. There's a rotation in the bicep, single hinge elbow, a hinge and rotation in the wrist, so the wrist can bend, and then they also rotate. The upper torso ball joint, which moves very easily. I mean, you can almost kind of get him in that kind of pose from the X-Men arcade where I think doesn't he explode his metallic armor? You guys will go, and then he just kind of explodes. It doesn't really explode, you know what I mean. He doesn't have any waist swivel, and then as for his legs hinge out. They hinge forward and back, but you have to kind of rotate the leg to get that hinge to move. So the best bet is, see where the hinge is now? It's sitting at the front. You can rotate the leg forward, and then you could kind of just pivot the leg, swivel it around so it still fits, if that makes any sense. He has a double bend at the knee, a swivel point in the kind of calf area of the foot, and a hinge in the toe area of the boot. We'll just swivel his leg back around, swivel his thigh. There we go. This figure, I'd be inclined to have a nice wide stance going for him. I mean, he does things really well, a lot of things really well. I'm still curious as to why this wasn't glued in place, and as you can see again, it's sculpted underneath. It looks like it could be removable, if not for the fact it's got this section right here. If not for that, you could have a shirtless, so to speak, Colossus if you so wish, but again, this will, that kind of defeats the purpose of doing that. Colossus, if you can find him, definitely worth adding to your Marvel Select X-Men lineup. And we've got now again, well, we've got Storm, Cyclops, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Gambit. There's a few that we're missing here and there, but if you haven't had a chance to pick up this guy and you can find him, definitely want to add him to your collection. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Diamond Select Toys. I love this figure. Diamond Select Toys, Marvel Select Colossus figure. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. Thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you next time.